What is up, guys? Your boy Elafa is back with another video. Let me just take a quick second to just mention how great these first few playoff games have been. Close games left and right, fans returning to their favorite team's arena, bringing back the value of home court advantage, and a couple upsets has occurred here and there. This is one of the few times where I can definitely say that this is going to be a very great postseason that will be very unpredictable. But for today's video, I want to consider a team who is not currently in the playoffs, but will most likely be a force to be reckoned with within a few years, no later than sooner, and that would be the Oklahoma City Thunder. This team has probably the brightest future in the NBA currently, but what will the next step be heading into the offseason? Before we start today's video, consider subscribing to the channel. I post controversial NBA videos or even relatable videos that you may enjoy if you are a die-hard NBA fan, and you guys also have the option to comment down below any future video topics that you may want to see. But other than that, let us begin today's video. Within today's NBA, there are a few teams that you can say has a very bright future, such as the New York Knicks, who literally turned their entire narrative around full 180, the Memphis Grizzlies, or you can even consider the Charlotte Hornets. These are all teams that has a plethora of young talented players who are currently showing flashes of them being great when we are looking within the future of NBA basketball. But me personally, I have never seen circumstances as great as the OKC Thunder. Although this team was nowhere near close to making the playoffs this season, they came into this season with an entirely different roster, and believe it or not, this team was actually on pace to solidifying a playoff spot within the beginning of the 2020-21 NBA season. But then they decided to take their foot off the gas and literally sat out basically their entire starting lineup, and they let their young bench pieces take the spotlight for this franchise. Thinking about it, this team has shown that they could be very competitive if they really tried to be, and they have so much flexibility regarding what they can actually do to their roster, whether if it's trading players to get back picks or players in return, or simply drafting great talented players within upcoming draft classes. During this season, this team was in desire of implementing young talented players within their roster, as time and time again they have acquired older veteran caliber players for their team, and they would usually flip those assets for either a very young asset or simply a singular draft pick. This was highly evident, assuming the fact that they literally traded away Danny Green for draft picks, George Hill for Tony Bradley, and more. And then they even informed Al Horford that his service was no longer needed, and he basically sat out the entire second half of the regular season. This team managed to sign many G League players or other type of players such as Moses Brown, Charlie Brown Jr., and there was even a point of time where they sent Pokusevski to the G League, and he came back to the OKC Thunder's roster, showing signs of him potentially being a very solid player in the future. Speculating more on Moses Brown, I'm telling you right now, he is going to be such a great impactful center in this league. I cannot stress enough how much I enjoy watching him play. He is a double-double machine, and he really shows his presence within the front court, using his size and length to grab boards, and he plays very great defense on many different occasions. It is always great to consider the amount of young assets that are currently present within the OKC Thunder's roster, and they can even acquire more young talented players within the NBA draft. Now, I don't follow college basketball consistently at all, but based off what I have read and heard from many different NBA fans, this upcoming draft class is very stacked of great young talented players, and the OKC Thunder could really take advantage of this circumstance. Within this season, the OKC Thunder finished with a record of 22-50 as the 14th seed in the Western Conference. Having this record has them tied for the 4th best odds of getting the first overall pick of the NBA draft. The Rockets currently have the best odds, but I would say that these odds are not to be considered as deeply, as teams can jump up within the NBA lottery, just as how the Pelicans did it to draft Zion. Although the OKC Thunder doesn't have the best odds to land number 1, there is still a huge possibility of them landing number 1 overall, and they even have the Houston Rockets draft pick to a certain extent. The Rockets draft pick is top 4 protected, so if their pick falls anywhere below top 4, that pick will definitely belong to the OKC Thunder, leading for the OKC Thunder having 2 top 10 overall picks, which is very great to consider. So we could possibly be looking at a scenario of the Thunder acquiring both the number 1 overall pick and the number 5 overall pick. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they have another draft pick to their favor even later within the first round of the NBA draft class. Having the luxury the OKC Thunder currently possess is truly significant indeed and outstanding in general, and this shows how scary this team could be in a couple more years. Obviously, with them getting the number 1 overall pick, they are most likely going to draft Cade Cunningham, who is a very great player and is already projected to become the next great superstar within the future of the NBA. He is a 6'8" player who could play the point guard position, and imagine pairing Cade Cunningham with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That duo will be so immaculate, and I truly believe he could fit well with the OKC Thunder system. And whoever they decide to draft, if they are lucky enough for the Rockets falling below top 4, will definitely implement great basketball for the OKC Thunder's general future. The OKC Thunder are going more in depth. Sam Presti has already shown in the past of them being able to draft great talented players, as they have drafted Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden all back to back within recent NBA history. So this team knows how to come from being a lottery team to all of a sudden a competitive playoff team in a matter of a couple years. We are currently witnessing the Thunder make the best out of their circumstances, developing their current players while making circumstances work for them, referring to the NBA draft, and it seems as though they gathered the right players from the G League who could fit well with the OKC Thunder style of play. As for example, we see how great of a player Lu Dort has become after being present in the G League last season. This team is going to have to mainly rely on newly acquired players from NBA drafts more often than so, assuming the fact that this team basically has close to a 0% chance of acquiring superstar free agents, assuming how low the market is compared to big marketed teams. Now, to end things off, the OKC Thunder has a plan, and it seems as though it is working slowly and they need to stick to it. They must continue developing their young players currently present within their roster, have their franchise player Shai Gilgeous-Alexander improve to the next level regarding to the all-star or potentially superstar that he is looking like he is going to become very soon, use their many draft picks to either trade for more young talented players that will definitely benefit them greatly, and hope to God they get lucky in the draft for that field to benefit them even more. When it comes to NBA teams rebuilding, I would definitely say the OKC Thunder knows how to rebuild their team by making the correct moves consistently and to not take any shortcuts, trading away their entire future to get an all-star caliber player that could potentially leave in free agency, or the experiment could potentially fail drastically. Overall, me being an OKC Thunder fan, I truly enjoy what this team is doing, and next season will be another step regarding the potential that this team could possibly show. But other than that, that will end today's video. What do you guys think? How do you feel about what the OKC Thunder are doing? Do you believe their future is very bright and they could become the next big juggernaut of a team within the Western Conference? The potential is there, but all we can do now is play the waiting game. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. I will greatly appreciate it. I'm out. Peace.